Hello, Airsoft friends, and welcome to this cheeky little live stream today. We have got some fun let me sort my camera out there. We have got some fun content coming up on today's stream. We are going to be having a very fanciful interview conversation, I guess would be a good way to do it, with a man which I'm sure that you all know and love and be very, very aware of all the wonderful things he's brought to Airsoft. We are chatting to Mr. Mikus! Oh no, wait, let me move the thing out of the way. There you go, there you are. I knew I'd forget to do something. How are you doing, dude? You alright?
Doing great, doing great.
Hey, epic. And like, what time is it there? Because where are you based again? I always forget which country.
Yeah, we're based in Latvia. It's right now 9 p.m. We just switched time 1 hour back, so it's all right.
Hey, we did that too. I was like, what? Oh no, when did we do that? I think it was Saturday night. Our time changed, and because I was at a Halloween party with like family kind of people and whatnot, and all of a sudden I was like, I checked the clock and I was like, it's 2 a.m. and then I checked my clock 5 minutes later and was like, oh, now it's 1 a.m. Am I just really drunk, or did something weird just happen? I don't really know. So yeah. Oh man, it's great to have you on. I feel like I always default to Austria for because of just like Novritsch and everything. Like I just if somebody's in Europe, I'm just like, they're in Austria.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I was to Austria this summer. I visited Novritsch's headquarters, so that was pretty fun. Yeah, I've been to their office 2 times now. Yeah, the first time I was going there for a job interview.
Oh, okay.
And
how did that go? How did that go?
It went well. They wanted me to hire. I just didn't want to relocate to Austria at that moment. So, but yeah, then COVID came, and I actually did some projects for them. And so this summer I went on a road trip around Europe and had the chance going through Austria and jumped by and checked out how they've grown. So that was a quite a big surprise. Like at the time when I was going to interview, they had like basically 2 small offices, very startup-y like, very small, very shady. Yeah, but now I went there this summer and they have like 3 huge offices, like bonkers. Like they grown almost 3 times the size in terms of people by the 1.5 years. So that was really cool to see that.
Blimey, man! I mean, it's sick that you've been able to get there so much. I guess is it like take long to get there, or is there just like a train that you can get that gets like quite central to Austria?
The first time I went, I took some trains. I just flew there and took some trains, and it was in Vienna, inside Vienna, it's quite easy to get around. There's like metro, so yeah, it was quickly to get to their office. This time we went by car, and yeah, so we basically drove into Vienna and then again metro, a few stops, and you're there.
Oh, that's sick, man. Like I've been meaning to get over there and like hang out at the offices and that. Like with Umbrella Armies as well. There's been a few kind of like days recently where they've had, you know, like people go over and like public days and like seeing new kit and stuff like that. But because of like it's for us anyway, traveling over there, there's like a 10-day.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, what's
like
it called?
Quarantine?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, a 10-day quarantine you have to have when you like arrive on site, and then you got to do your stuff, and then you got to have all the tests. And I'm just like, best case scenario, all the tests are negative. If anything goes like positive, then that's just going to really suck. Like it's going to suck so much. So yeah, I've not been able to get out there yet, and it kind of looks like we're going to be having more quarantine-y things coming in the UK, which really sucks. So hopefully that doesn't come to be, because I really want to get over there and actually kind of like, you know, say hi to the guys in person and just play some airsoft. Speaking of which, how long have you been playing airsoft for?
I think it should be around 5 years, 6 years maybe. At this point. Yeah, I basically got into like AGs. Like I grabbed myself an AG, a pair of goggles and a face mask, and was running that for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then it got quite boring because I was getting pretty good at it. And then I wanted to kind of challenge myself. And that was the point where Novritsch released the SG-24. And was like curious to get into the sniping and stuff, but I couldn't like. It was really hard for me. Like I'm a quite what do you call it, a frugal person, like somebody who doesn't like spend money on like just yes on some fun stuff. So I had to somehow justify the purchase of the SG-24. And so how I justified is I thought, okay, so I've seen somebody doing VSR10 M4 magazine adapters, and I saw like, okay, so SG-24 is now kind of popping. I could do the same thing just for SG-24 because nobody had done that, and that was my like reason. Like, okay, so if I get this gun, I have to make this product so I can at least recoup some of the costs. So, and that's how I got into airsoft sniping. And then I've been doing that ever since. Basically, I literally picked up an AG just this year on a game. So I tried out the SSR-15, but yeah, before that, like I've been running like bolt actions past 4 years or so. And it's been really fun.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I feel like I've kind of gone a similar way. But I started off with a M4 and then kind of got a sniper, upgraded that, played around with it, and then I kind of main sniping for ages. But then I felt like there was a game day where I was playing with like my group of mates, and I kind of spent the whole day just like lying on my belly in like a couple of bushes, and I'd seen like my friends running forward and running back and all that kind of stuff. And then there was a bit where one of my friends was like, "Oh God, having a good day?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got like like 4 or 5 solid kills, and I've like not died at all." And he was like, "Oh, I've got about 50 kills, and I died about 20 times." And instantly I was just like, it sounds like you've had so much more fun than I have, like running around, killing so many people. Doesn't even matter, So that was the point where I was like, my sniper was kind of like dying because the upgrades were just kind of like dropping out of it. So I sold all the rifle off because I had to justify buying a proper M4 because I had my crappy one, but it was kind of broken because I'd taken it apart so many times. And that's when I got the Crytac there. Yeah, like I had a lot of fun with it, and I kind of now I'm very flip-floppy between what it is that I want to run. Like I'm not really too fussed about like if I'm with a group of if I go with a group of friends, then I quite like running an M4 or something like that. And I'm actually like really looking forward to running my Mod 1 more now. Like I've got it in like a bit of a cheeky config, but I'm gonna Frankenstein this with the TK45 I've got as well. Because I want a longer barrel on it, but you can't get one with the longer barrel. So I'm going to take the longer barrel and handguard from the TK45 and put it onto that. And I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. But yeah, like I kind of find I just flip-flop a lot. Some days I just absolutely love sniping. And my SSG-10 is just an absolute beast. Like the last video I did with it, I was just like getting headshots on kids that are like, 78 meters away, first shot. And it was just like, people say their guns are like lasers. And a lot of the time, they're not, but that is genuinely like the most lasery type gun I've ever had, where it's just been a beautiful. The BB trajectory is just straight, like the bucking hardness is just perfectly matched to the BB weight, and it's just like it seems like the everything's aligned on it, and that's what the TRIDOS TDC on that as well. Like that just transformed the SSG-10 for me. Like it's just such a. Yeah, like if every time somebody says to me, "What should I get for my my sniper rifle?" my first thing is like TRIDOS TDC. It's just it's fucking sick.
Yeah, it was honestly a night and day experience when the first time I tried like a TDC. So I basically I was like, okay, so a lot of people are talking about these TDCs and like, okay, let's. At that point, I was running like SG-24. By the way, I'm a super aggressive sniper. I don't have the patience to sit in a bush, so even though I'm running a sniper, I'm usually the first one on the front lines. But yeah, so the first time I tried like a prototype TDC, just like that was like a super basic version, a 3D printed version with the basic screw and stuff. And holy shit, like the difference was night and day. I was like, what? Okay, like this. Okay, so clearly this is the way to go. And I've been playing with that for like a half a year, and then the SG-10 came out. And I basically fielded the SG-10 for the first game, and even though it had like 2 times as many clicks for the hop-up, so it should have been super good.
Yeah.
Like I instantly felt like, okay, so this is not enough, clearly not enough. So I was like flip-flopping between 1 and 2 settings. And it was like I needed that half a setting, and at that point, like I went, okay, we really need to make something really good at this point, and that's how the TDC 2.0 came about. we basically wanted to kill like in terms of features, like just blow everything else away. And I think that's something we did.
I think it completely. Like, I'm quite surprised. Like, when the when was it? With the new SSG 10A3 release came out. I was in that live stream. Like, I was a guest on the live stream, but even I didn't know what it was they were releasing. They were so tight-lipped about it, and I thought it was going to be something like, you know, here's the new SSG 10. It's going to come with like a TDC pre-installed in it, or like a more kind of like pre-upgraded one, so you could spend maybe like €299 for the stock SSG 10 A1 rifle, or you'd have like call it like the SSG 11 or something like that. That's what I thought it may have been, where it was a more maybe a different stock, but an actual like kind of just upgraded version of the rifle. So, you know, you already get sick performance with the SSG 10 anyway, but you know, there's the little things like, you know, it feels like it's a little thing, but it also feels like it's a big thing too, because it's such a I don't know how to explain it really, because it's such a small change, but it has such a big difference. Impact, like, it's just being able to change your hop with the tiniest little amount of difference is something which, you know, you just don't get with the slider hop up adjustment at all. And it's yeah, I think you don't really realise the difference on it until you actually do it. Almost like swapping from 7.4 volt batteries to 11 volt. You'd be like, in your head, you're like, it's just a battery. Like, well, no, it's not going to make any difference. But oh my god, like, it really does. It really does.
It's one of those things. You don't believe it until you try it, and then when you try it, you can't really go back. It's a one-way ticket. Similar to a lot of like, I don't know, like mechanical keyboards, for example. Like most people don't understand why you need one, but once you go there, it's really hard to go back just because of the convenience, and actually like you can get faster typing on it and stuff like that. So I think it's the same situation here with TDCs.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. I mean, I could never go back to like a standard membrane keyboard or even like I don't have a mouse pad, I have a desk pad, and it's just like going when I, you know, used to go back into the office at my old, you know, place of work. The first day I went in, and it was they didn't even have mouse pads. It was just like a mouse on a table, and I was just like, what is this hell? Like, what have I walked into? And so the next day I walk in with my desk pad, put it down, and everyone's looking at me like, what is this guy doing? Like, what is that? So every time I kind of like catch someone kind of like looking at me or something, I'd be like, okay, come over, sit down, and just put your arms down on the table. And they just go, okay, this is really nice. I'm like, exactly. See, you'll understand it. You'll understand it. So have you ever actually come over to like the UK at all, like for airsoft or just in general? Because I'm quite curious on like the differences.
Definitely not. For airsoft, definitely not. I've been to UK twice. Yeah, one time I was just there for a day for work.
Okay.
The second time I was there for a Red Bull Escape Room World Championship.
Escape Room World Championship. What?
Yeah.
What is this?
So there's apparently an Escape Room World Championship that we accidentally qualified for in Latvia because there wasn't like that big of a hype around it, and we actually did really, really well. We obviously didn't take any places, but it was really crazy experience, and we did really well actually.
I'm literally on it right now. We've got Taiwan, Colombia, Australia. Oh no, wait. These are all random things. No way. Find athlete of interest. Okay, I'm gonna search your name. You're my athlete of interest.
Yeah, I think you can try. I'm not sure if I'll pop up. Yeah, I mean, you can try it. You can definitely try.
Oh no, wait! I was searching for just general Red Bull, just general Red Bull people. This does look sick though. Hold on, wait. Where's the button? Where's the button? Here we go. So this is what I've got here. The Escape Room Championship. So, imagine if you're in one of these. So what would does this look familiar to you? Like what?
So no, this was I think. So it has happened so far twice, I think. And we were participating in the second time it was being organized, and then I think it should have been happening sometime now or something like that. But yeah, it's quite challenging to create those experiences. But those images are from the first one. The second one we participated in was quite a bit different, but honestly, it was a mind-blowing experience. So there's a guy like a professor from one of the Canada universities that is all over escape rooms, and he's been researching that kind of stuff for years. And he was basically the charge on both of the room designs, and it's really tricky to put like a level playing field for all cultures that you can compete in without like biases and stuff like that. So it's actually a really hard challenge to put a room that you can actually like run competitively.
Sure. Yeah.
And obviously you can run it only once. Once you make it, once you put it out there, like everyone learns about it and stuff like that. So you can't really run it twice. But yeah, it was a really awesome experience.
Interesting. That's really cool. It's just, I mean, it's like Crystal Maze, isn't it? If you're familiar with the Crystal Maze.
No, I don't think so.
It's like it's essentially just like a whole. It was an old British TV show where there was just like a bold man who had this facility, and teams would go in to try and like get crystals, and the more crystals they got from the escape rooms, the more time they would have in this big kind of like wind tunnel where they could grab money, and the more money they grabbed, the more they left with. So yeah, awesome. That was that sounds really sick though. Like I'd love to. I'd really love to do that. Right, I'm gonna come into chat because I see chat has been like sending questions our way. I was gonna save all the questions to the end, but you know what? I figure why not? Let's just do some now, and then we can do even more questions at the end. So, well, Ben Jackson says still rocking my SSG 24 with TRIDOS upgrades and still a beast gun. Let's go. There we are. So I mean that was like would you say the SSG 24 was like the gun that got you into making accessories then?
Definitely, yes, definitely. Because like we're aiming to do, like, we obviously wanted to do one thing but really good, and it's really hard to at least for like if you take VSR 10 as a platform to start off, like there's so many variants, so many clones, it's really hard to do it right. So that's why a lot of times like accessories don't really work together and stuff like that. So and we saw that this G24 is like really a game-changing thing, so we knew that a lot of people would get it, and there would be a market for just this one particular gun. But even then, between the batches, there are some changes that really at a few points screwed us over a little bit in terms of like there's tiny changes. No one communicates them, and so yeah, it's still a guessing game, but at least then you're set for a bit more success in terms of like getting everything perfect.
Sure. Like I mean, if they were to shave like a mil off the fluted outer barrel, for example, just to save on, save a little bit of weight, or reducing that material saves them like costs in terms of production, then all of the current TDCs that would be going for that next batch of rifles would not be.
They would probably work, but they would be not perfect.
Yeah, man. There you go. Oh, sick. It's nice though that that you kind of like tied to Novritsch in that way, because SSG 24 was like his first thing that he made, and it's a thing that kind of like set you off. So that's sick. Atomic Gamer, yo, how's it going? You're a big fan. Thank you very much. Happy that you're loving the content. You're saying what would be the best starter AR for a beginner? What would you say is the best starter AR then?
Ooh, there are so many good options honestly right now. My starter gun was SFSA, and honestly I think SFSA is making really good rifles. They're full metal and they actually perform really well. So my SFSA, the first AG I got, was I think a little bit under 200 euros, and it's still rocking. Something broke now after 5 years, but apart from that, it was perfect, and it was working really well. And recently, one of my buddies who's actually like working for me got a G&G, one of the combat machines, I think. Not the cheapest one, but something with already with a built-in MOSFET and stuff like that. And it also came around, maybe it was 230 or something like that. Oh man, it shoots so good.
Yeah.
Honestly, so good. Okay, maybe it's not perfect in terms of build quality. It's mostly plastic, but oh man, it shoots good. It's sick.
That's cool. I'd say like the G&G combat machines seem to be just generally, revered as a really good starter rifle. So that's something which I would definitely be, happy to recommend off the bat. I think like my first rifle was a Vulcan ASL, and there. See, I'm more of I enjoy the whole full metal aspect, but that's one of the things which actually I find quite ironic with airsoft, is that more and more real world guns are moving to polymer as opposed to being metal for a whole flurry of like different reasons, like weight, things like that. And I'm very much like, I want my gun to be as light as possible so I can kind of have as much maneuverability and not get as tired, because my stamina is like absolutely garbage. So I actually more prefer like I've got my, what is this one here? This is the Ares AM007, and I really love this thing. You can tell I put an extended barrel in it. I needed the suppressor for a different build, so that's why that's sticking out. But I really like this build just because it's super light, it's super small. You put the like longer barrel in if you want, put a bit of a cover on it, and then you're kind of like all set to go. It's compatible with loads of different magazines, and it's just like, it does the job well. There's only a couple kind of like downsides to it. Was I found the mag release to be a bit naff. The trigger, there was a lot of trigger movement in it, and the fire selector broke on like the first or second outing. I can't remember which one. So there's definitely a few little bits that you need to do to it in order to get it kind of like up to snuff. But it's just, you know, it's a super cheap rifle. I think it's like 120 quid, something like that. It's lightweight, it's super maneuverable, and that's like for a first M4, I'd be all over that. Like, it's very, very good, like to run stuff like that. Like, I think that I had a friend who recently started playing airsoft, and he was like, I'm going to buy a gun. And he was like, I'm going to buy a G36. And I was like, don't buy a G36, please. Like, just don't do it. But I couldn't convince him not to, because it's something which he really wanted. And, you know, if it's going to bring him joy, then go for it, enjoy it. And, you know, it's more about getting in and playing airsoft and enjoying it, as opposed to, you know, just buying something which somebody else is just recommending for the sake of it. But M4s, he literally, like, after running the G36 like twice, he then was like, I'm buying an M4. So I'd say to everyone, buy an M4. And the great thing, like this little cheapy M4 here, if you want to run it as like you know, like a PDW, like a short, you know, CQB type gun, it comes like that. If you want to run it as like a more mid-range rifle, just put a longer barrel in it, and again, you're all ready to go. And if you want to run it as a DMR, do a few internal upgrades, and then you're set. And then from doing those different changes to your rifle, you can then work out what kind of, you know, what your game style is, what you like, what you don't like. And then you can actually invest a decent amount of money into a gun, like, you know, probably like a 300-400 pound gun would be your second one, but that would be tailored specifically to what it is that you enjoy and how you want to play, as opposed to just like kind of learning. Because I don't expect anybody's first gun to last more than like 12 months. Like, if your first gun lasts more than 12 months, you've either done really well or you've done something really wrong.
But I'd say mine lasted more than a year, so I think that it did well. So yeah, mine was Spetsnaz, but yeah, to Atomic Gamer, like, honestly, I'm not sure what the M49G is, but honestly, just but either the Spetsnaz or the GNG you're talking about, both are going to be excellent guns. Honestly, one thing I would look for a gun right now that I didn't have was a quick change spring. That was the only thing I kind of missed, because it's just a useful thing that you don't have to take apart the whole gun just to change the spring. So yeah, as long as it has a MOSFET, it has decent internals. Don't get anything above, I would say, 300 millimeters in terms of inner barrel.
Yeah, I agree
or something like that. Fun fact, it doesn't do anything, like, at least on AGs mostly. If you can snipe with a 300 millimeter barrel perfectly to 18-19 meters, so that you don't really need anything longer. So yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 100%. Like the SA-E07, I've had I think I had the E13, the 13, so I guess that's similar, and that was like a full metal construction. And again, that was like a PDW. It was like it did the job, really. I mean, I think a lot of people over-expect performance from airsoft guns. And, you know, a lot of the time when you watch videos online, you know, BBs seem to fly really, really well. But that's about 10% of BBs from those riffs. Sure. And, like, the majority of BB guns get, like, you know, as long as it can kind of shoot pretty accurately at 40 meters, that's kind of really all you need in order to kind of like go out and do well. Like, if you're gonna want to like hit somebody's ear from 80 meters away, which is just stuck out from behind like a plane or something, you're not really realistically gonna be getting that. So it's yeah, have your expectations met, and don't get angry at your gun. If you've got a crap gun and you can do really well with it, I'd rather that than me be reliant on having a good gun in order to play well. Yeah. Because, you know, you can't buy skill, but you can buy a good gun you know,
when you have a good gun, it often feels like you're cheating. It's just so unfair, honestly. If you can shoot like 10 to 20 meters more than the rest of the enemies, you're kind of basically like cheating. And you don't feel the same satisfaction as you feel when you actually outplay the enemies.
I feel like that with my SSG-10. Like if I can just get like held up in a little spot and I'm just popping people off, I'll be like, I'll just giggle to myself. I'll have that kind of happy giggle of like, oh look, there's someone.
Yep.
And there they're gone. Oh look, there's someone else, and that's really quite fun, because as well at the same time you've had to make the decision to get into that spot where you can then just freely kind of like take people out. So that's that you still have to earn it. You always have to earn your kills in airsoft. There's no kills you get for free. Ross Houghton there says G&G Firehawk. That's a very popular one, and one that I see quite regularly around the place. And it's so loud. It's so you know, that's the kind of gun where you know that you're next to someone with it, because it's just like every shot is and you're like, oh my god, like it's scary. But like when that's coming at you, it does make you feel a little bit like, I don't want to get hit by that, which is quite funny. Yeah. Do you come across those much in Latvia, the wild hogs?
I mean, I don't think so. I'm not sure, like, particularly, but we have a wide range. Usually, Latvian players tend to be either cheapskates or go, like, full-blown HPA setups and stuff like that. So, I actually don't see much G&Gs and stuff like that on the fields. It's more like SEMAs and some cheap guns at first.
What are your thoughts on HPA? I see Ben J just dropped it in chat. Have you used HPA before?
I just got my first HPA tank line, and I want to do some HPA stuff on the SSXs, but I haven't done it on any of the guns. But I absolutely hate when there's an HPA gun on the enemy team, because it feels just so unfair. It feels so quiet, so quick in terms of shooting, so I usually hate it when I run into HPA players.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the Wolverine, I've not used them myself. I had a Tipman a while ago. It was like super recoil, and it was very, like, it felt quite epic. But I'm very much like, I want everything that I used to be ultra functional. And to me, like, having like the TK45 here, it's got recoil built into it. And for me, I'm like, it's nice, but I've now got a gun where I've purposely now, every time I shoot, it's making me less accurate, which doesn't make any sense to me. But I can understand, you know, people who want to get those guns to buy, like, to, you know, have that recoil and have that kind of, like, you know, what's it called, like, immersion in what they're doing. But, like, you know, it's the same as like when you see somebody with a foregrip on their rifle and they're holding the mag well, or if they're playing in a forest in the middle of the day and they've got a torch like on the side of their riff. Like, I'm like, that doesn't serve any purpose at all. You're either going to, like, lose it, or you're going to break it, or it's just adding extra weight to your gun. Or if you try and, like, you know, get an angle behind a tree because you got the torch there, it's not going to let you get enough of an angle. Like, but again, like, it's all about if it brings joy to the person, and that's what makes airsoft one of those great things. Like, people, you know, you're not wrong for doing something that you enjoy, and that's just something which is, like, awesome about airsoft.
Yeah.
Do you have like anything kind of like aesthetic, or any like weird stuff that you like on your guns when you run them? That would probably be, I don't know, that could be someone would be like, why do you even have that there? Why are you using that? Do you have anything on your kit that's like that?
Generally, no. The only no, actually, I'm also a very functional guy. I've never run like I ran a flashlight for a game or two, and I never used it, so I just dropped it. But yeah, I generally run everything all I need, like as it is. I usually don't have anything unnecessary there. So can't think of anything, honestly.
It's good, man. That's good. I'm happy that we have the same like kind of like mode of thinking. You know, how do you feel about sidearms as well? Because that's something which I feel like I have this constant battle of, it would be nice to have one, but I always get decision paralysis of, if I'm gonna like breach a room or something, I always like pause, because I'm like, shall I use my rifle or shall I drop down to my pistol? And I have this little mental battle that stops me from like doing anything.
For sure. When I'm running M4s, never. Just don't care. Don't run on a sidearm when I'm running M4s, because the M4 is going to be much better at everything basically everything. If it's short, if it's not extremely long, which it shouldn't be because and there's no point honestly.
Yeah.
And yeah, so when I'm running M4s, definitely no sidearm. When I'm running a sniper, sidearms is a must.
Yeah, 100%.
And honestly, like I've been getting really into like pistol. Honestly, if I look over to my wall, when I was running when I started running SG-24, I got my first GBB pistol.
Yeah.
It was an ASG P09, which was really well. It worked really well. But now I have like 10 pistols, I think. I have an AAP. I have like 5 SSX 23s. I honestly was blown away most probably by the SSX 23 on how well it shoots. I mean, generally the MK23 platform. It's absolutely insane. And that's also what got me into developing the carbine kit for it.
Yeah.
And actually now, I usually for the probably past 5 or so games, mostly this year, I've actually been running the S623 in some sort of either a carbine kit configuration or S60303. That's honestly one of my go-tos, and when I'm running that with low capacity magazines, like 30 rounds or so,
yeah,
I do usually carry around another sidearm. So even though I'm running sidearm as a primary, I still have a sidearm just because you don't have enough BBs sometimes. And I was actually quite surprised. I got the SSE 18. I mean, obviously their AAPs have been around for quite a while. It didn't cross my eyesight before Novritsch released one.
Yeah.
And I got one just for the lulz. I just wanted to check it out, maybe do a review on it and stuff like that. And I was like so positively impressed.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be a gun that I just run once. Okay, yeah, it shoots quite shitty and just carry on and never pick it again. Honestly, it's been one of my go-to primaries when I'm running like an SSX 3 or a sniper, just because it's so deadly in the close combat. You can like just shoot like it's gonna always work.
Yeah.
With gas guns, you always worry about it's gonna jam maybe. Is it gonna run out of gas? There's like tons of factors. With that one, I honestly in one game, I think I got like maybe 10 or 15 kills, where I got probably the same with the sex, and it's honestly super fun. Obviously, it doesn't have the wow factor, but it's super functional in close range. It's insane.
I think that's the thing. Like pistols are, you only really need a pistol to work like for 15 meters or so. I'd say arguably, like most of the time, it's just going to be like room clearing, room to room, and you can just like grab it and just be like pop, 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 and then you're on your way. Like it's, I find it. I don't know. Again, it comes down to that whole. If people are getting pleasure from it, it's not wrong. But when you're starting like a woodland game and there's that guy, there's always a guy who's just running out with his two-tone blue slide pistol, and he's got like a bottle of gas in that pocket there, and he's got like a speed loader hanging out his other pocket there, and I'm just like, you're not going to be hitting anything doing this. Like,
I mean, honestly, if you run a good pistol, you can actually enjoy playing against primaries even on the full field, I think. Maybe not in the woodlands, but if you're running in somewhat of at least a slightly urban area, I think you can do really well with just a pistol. For example, the SSP-18 is actually like a seriously good Glock, and I think you can easily run that as a primary. And I've heard quite a few people who run primaries as the S623, just the pistol config, and you get like a ton of kills, and you're having a lot of fun. So. But yeah, you need a good pistol for it to be really effective, and you can play it as a primary or even an effective secondary.
Yeah, for sure. How do you feel about using a sidearm as a sidearm? Red dot sights on them. What's your kind of like thoughts on those?
I tried. I really don't like it.
Me too. I don't understand. Like target acquisition so fucking hard.
I think it's something you really have to get used to it if you trained for it. I think you can get really good at it. The first few times when you put on the red dot on there, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
I couldn't find it at all. I'd literally, I'd be there like for ages doing this, like trying to find the dot. And oh my god,
it's a muscle memory thing. It just screws around with the with the muscle memory. And I truly believe that if you do it all the time, you can get good at it, and even better than maybe with iron sights. But you have to really commit, and that's not something I'm willing to do. I don't have the interest to learn the skill. But for example, like the Joseph from Novritsch team, he was running like the red dot on his real steel Glock, I think, or something like that, and he basically put it on also on the airsoft one, just so he can train for the muscle memory for it.
Okay, yeah.
And that makes sense, and I truly believe there is a space for it, but yeah, generally for average players, totally worthless.
Yeah, no, I agree on that. I struggle a lot with it. But yeah, it's funny. Like I'm always very curious about how people feel about red dot sights on pistols, because with an AR, or like, oh, this is an amp. But with that, you always got that kind of like the same kind of, you put your head down there and you're just straight in that line. Whereas if you've got the pistol on there, it feels like there's much more variables, and the muscle memory of just kind of like very like here, like in my room, for example, I've got like a little stuffed toy up there. I know I can go like that, and if I check the iron sights, I'm on it, you know. Whereas if I'm trying to find the red dot, I'm like, oh, where the hell is that? So it's more, I practice like the snap of like using the peripherals and then checking where the sight is as my little kind of like training type thing. Like, look at that, I just managed to train my sights onto my fiance's head. She's going to be very happy about that. Oh, sick one. Cool. Oh, and what would you... So, last one before we move into the cool announcy type stuff, which people probably are very aware of already what that is. But what would you say is your favourite riff overall?
A tough one. I just have so many right now, but I would be quite torn, I would say... Looks wise, I love the A3, the SG10 A3.
Okay.
I just love it. But as long as I don't have the M4 adapter for it, I won't run it probably. But I would say like my favorite riff right now is the S623 inside the nano carbine kit. Obviously, cool. Very biased opinion, but I really do love the setup. Honestly, yeah, I love it to death. I think it's so functional. It's so lightweight. It's insane. Like supposedly this 623, this 6303 is supposed to be light, but oh man, the nano carbon kit is so light. And yeah, it's a killer combination. So that's my definitely go-to right now.
Okay, cool. You'll have to send me one so I can check it out.
Yeah, I definitely could.
Sniff has put in Mikus. I'm trying so hard as well to pronounce the name correctly. It's just like, you know, for me it's easy. It's just shoe. Like it's something everyone encounters every day, but I've never put a Mikus on my feet, so it's difficult for me to get to pronounce it correctly. And I've got like a Dutch friend who's called Jeroen, but with more Dutch sounds to it. And whenever anybody English sees his name, they always go, "Oh, hello, Jerome." So and I know how much it frustrates him. So I'm very conscious of trying to say it right. But anyway,
no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not that conscious. So it's fine.
Oh, perfect. So he says, "I already brought almost everything for the DMR kit. I have one question: is the handguard really necessary if I use a 30cm suppressor and a 300mm extended barrel?"
Probably not. Honestly, the one thing that the handguard is going to do is basically... So even though if you run like a suppressor and everything, even though it's a super solid combination, there's still a little bit of a wobble on the outer barrel. And that's one thing that we're going to be eliminating with the handguard. So basically, number one, we're going to have like an outer barrel extension. So it's super locked in. But the second thing is, even if you don't want to run it with the outer barrel and then the suppressor, you could run the modular suppressor inside the handguard, and that way, if you lean on the tree, let's say, or just bump the gun somewhere, you won't actually be hitting the silencer and therefore the barrel. Which actually what happened once. I was jumping out the window and I failed quite hard, and the gun like slammed onto the ground from quite high up, and actually so the threads on my silencer had like kind of tilted and snapped out of the threads, so it was like bent a little bit, but I couldn't like unscrew it and screw it together, and so it was a bit messed up. If I had the handguard, it wouldn't have happened, because the handguard basically kind of protects it. And it's also a comfy thing. So if you run the handguard, you'll be actually able to grab it by the handguard without. I mean, you can grab it by the suppressor, but that's kind of weird. And then you're also kind of wobbling it a little bit around. So there's going to be uses. It's again super modular, so you'll be able to run the suppressor inside, just partially inside, or then fully externally. But yeah, so mainly just a few tiny improvements. It's not needed. You can definitely run just the suppressor and hide the barrel. But I don't think it's that effective in silencing in that case when you're running like the barrel kind of partially inside the suppressor. So you're losing a little bit on the silencing effect.
Fair. Cool. And I'd say that there's another one on there for you as well. Mega Zebedee says, is there any update on stock availability for the TDC 2.0 Pro for SG10?
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. I mean, guys, you're completely insane. I had the stock for like, I don't know. Now we had it in stock for like 5 months, and we're like killing with the sales. And instantly when it goes out, like the next day, I get a notification. Hey, when is it gonna be available? The next day.
Now we need it now. Hurry up.
Yes, it's insane. No, but actually the parts are literally leaving the factory right now. There's some shipping issues, but yeah, it should be early November back in stock. So hopefully just a week or two maximum. So the parts are ready. They're coming this way. We just need to pack them. Wait for the parts and pack them. So should be in stock quite soon.
Sick. There you go. Cool. Good news. See, knowing that something is coming back in stock is always very good news. And yep. What we have got in stock at the moment? Well, we have lots of these things in stock. We have got in stock the brand new item that Tridos and I, or Mikus and I, we have done a little cheeky collab on. Let me get the original one up. We can have a little look at that as well. So many moons ago, I was looking at the Mark 23 and I was like, I want to adjust the hop on the top, but there wasn't really a way to do it without carrying like Allen keys. And I'd lost so much money in Allen keys. And you know when you have like a set of Allen keys, or you like buy a set off Amazon or something, and there'd be like 10 Allen keys in it. I've got like 3 sets with the same Allen key missing because I'd always take it out and I'd put it in the same place in my pouch to like, you know, hopefully I wouldn't lose it. And you know, inevitably I always did. So this thing became into existence, which is the 3D printed version of this cheeky little tool here. Can I go slideshow? I can't go like a slideshow, but essentially it's a little tool that's it's got like an Allen key in it. It's 3D printed and it sits snugly into the little light mount torchy type thing that comes with the Mark 23 that nobody actually ever uses. So it goes in that little hole there. Spoiler, in that little shot there too, actually. And then one day, Mikus dropped me a message and was like, hey, this is a really sick item, but you know what would be even sicker? A proper CNC made one. And I've got zero experience in terms of like, you know, making anything out into CNC. I do like all my 3D pretty bits, but that was a little bit too much for me. So we decided to partner on this and bring a CNC proper like aluminum made up version of the TDC tool and also the TDC thumb screw as well in order to bring you this cheeky thing here. Look at that. Boom. So it's proper. I've seen quite a few comments of people going, it looks injection molded, and you know, stuff like that. And I'm like, no, it's full. Like it literally says it in the name. It's full CNC machined. Like it's and it's just it's so pretty, and it's something which I'm genuinely like so proud of, and it's so cool. You know, Mickey, you said before about how, you know, we're kind of like smaller kind of like people in the scene partnering up together to try and bring cool new products forward for everyone in Airsoft to use, because you know, ultimately like the goal of Project Airsoft, and I'm sure it's going to be the same goal for TRIDOS.DESIGN, is to make Airsoft better for everyone out there, and this is one of the things which we can do to achieve that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, we basically, ever since I started, like, either when we make a product, we either do it like the best we can and basically best on the market, or we don't do it at all. And this was also one of the cases where I went on like, oh damn, these are like seriously good products. Like the idea is really, really cool. And I just and I was kind of making the thumb screw anyways, regardless. And then I went, oh, maybe we can do a collab on this, and that way, like, we're both gaining, not just like there's this constant battle in the small airsoft creators space between like, oh, like this guy's ripping that guy off and like everything like that, and I kind of wanted to set a precedent for like, hey, actually we can be friends and we can actually do this together and both benefit from the thing, and not create some new drama and wars between already small business.
I've got no time for drama. I'm so tired of like, you see it all the time, and I'm just like, oh, I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered with all of that that's going on. Oh, yeah, but mate,
unless you can make good content on it, right?
Well, no, actually, I've tried. You may have seen, I've not done any drama-related things for quite a while. I do get often people every now and again saying to me like, oh, you clickbaited me in to make it look like it was a mean video. Like, I did a video a while ago, and it was called "Novritsch isn't making guns for you." And like, the thing is, like, look, on the surface, it's like, what is that? Sounds quite controversial. Like, what is that? But when you actually watch the video, it's very literal of like, if you're the kind of person who complains about the guns being, you know, just pre-upgraded things and you can do it for cheaper, then he's not making guns for you because you could just go and do it yourself. Like, that's the whole premise of that video. So it's very, very accurate to the title. It's just trying to, you know, newspapers wouldn't sell very many if they just went, Novritsch is making airsoft sniper rifles for people who don't know how to upgrade sniper rifles or don't want to or don't have the time to, because, you know, especially like, you know, even people like, you know, worse, not as bad as me or worse than me, like, sometimes I don't want to have to buy a gun to then upgrade it. You know, I'd rather just spend an extra, I don't know, 200 quid or something on a rifle that just comes already done, so then I don't have to, like, you know, spend evenings when I could be doing other stuff instead. But yeah, here we go. I've got a couple of them here, and the cool thing with these ones as well is they have actual packaging too. It's the first time I've sold anything with actual packaging. Here we go. If I get that out there. So this is quite cool. It's got a barcode on it. I don't have a barcode scanner or reader, so you could scan it and it take you to like a Chinese restaurant for all I know. So I'm just trusting that it's a that it's a real barcode.
It's actually a legit barcode. I'm registered as a barcode creator and stuff like that. So yeah,
there you go.
It's all
legit.
That.
Boom. That's the mini thumb screw. I need literally like probably about 4 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more, I updated the branding. So the next time you get some boxes made up, I'll send you the updated Project Airsoft branding.
Sure.
There you go.
I mean, I have quite a few now, so it's gonna be a bit of a while.
That's fine.
So, but yeah.
There we go. So that's the box.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, the packaging part was like quite tricky. Like I've been doing like some of the products like for a bit now, and yeah, one of the things I kind of like, obviously, like we're already 3D printing stuff that could be thrown away at some point, and there's a lot of plastic trash, let's say, out there already, and we kind of wanted to switch to fully recyclable paper, cardboard packaging, and it was actually really tough. It was like super tough. We had to like we had to like work on this for like 3 months to figure out how to make all the packaging cardboard. So but yeah, it's really cool when it comes to fruition. So those tiny little boxes are really, really cool.
I like them. They're like got a nice little feel to it. There's like raised parts. There's like shiny parts. It's yeah, it's all very fancy. And like, yeah, the little cardboard inserts that go in there. Hold on, I'll show chat how that works as well. So you get these little, inside the boxes, there's these little cardboard inserts which come like this. So then we fold them up like that, and then once that's done, we take our little tool, and then that just sits in there like that, and then that goes inside the box, and it keeps it in there nice and safe. And then when you want to take it out, you just pop it out, and then boom, you can now put it on your Mark 23, just like that. Very, very swanky. Very, very cool.
There's been quite a few times when, at least I think I've seen pictures from both my customers and your customers with the screws poking out of the packaging slightly. But yeah, so that kind of fixes that problem, at least mostly. So far we haven't seen anyone have no more screws poking out the cardboard boxes. So.
Do you want to know the way I fixed the problem of the screws poking out of packaging?
I think you mentioned it, but go ahead.
So every time somebody orders something from me, they get a free packet of Haribo in there as well. So the way I stopped the screw broken out problem was I put the packet of Haribo where the screw bit is. So now it can't go out of the packaging because there's that layer of plastic of the sweets. It's like bubble wrap, but you can eat it, which is great.
Yep.
So yeah,
nice.
That's it. But yeah, like it's a very exciting time. It's very, very cool. Oh yeah, Smalls Airsoft Tech says aluminium or aluminum.
Oh geez, I don't know. I think it's. Is that kind of a thing where it's US and UK English?
It is, yeah. It is. Okay. We say one and they say the other, but there's actually a reason why.
Wait, let me guess. You say alumin. Fuck, I can't say it. I can't pronounce it. I usually say aluminum. I think that's US, right?
Yeah, and then we say aluminium.
Yeah. Okay, that's
But do you know why? Do you know why there's a difference between the two?
No.
It's because I think it's an English guy found out that in aluminium there's like the way in which it reacts to electricity. So you got aluminum, which is like how it kind of was before, and then we really pronounce the aluminium because that's highlighting the the electrical properties, which then got added to its name once it was discovered. Science.
Okay, gotcha.
Science, eh?
Science.
Oh, science. But yeah, oh man, I'm so happy with that. It's a really, really cool little tool. Really, really cool little tool. And if anybody hasn't, like, here's the top one as well, actually, on my Mark 23. That's the thumb screw there. So you literally you twist it like that if you want to adjust your hop. And if you don't have that, and if you'd rather using the grub screw, then you just unscrew it from the trigger guard there, and then you just do it on the top there and adjust it like that. So yeah, there you go. So pretty much, if you're in Europe, buy it from TRIDOS, buy it from them because shipping will be cheaper. And if you're in the UK, buy it from me, and then everyone's happy. That's the way.
Yep. Totally. Also,
it.
fun fact: probably not a lot of people know this because we're the only two ones who know that. We actually made a batch and it was faulty. So I was the one who was ordering the pieces from the factories. And we actually had a faulty batch that had to go to waste, but thankfully it was a small batch that we did as a test batch. So
you actually because I did get the
the faulty ones.
Yeah, but it's not an ideal solution. Oh no, not those ones there. Where are these the ones? No,
I don't know.
What is that? Oh no, what did I do? I've done something.
Uh-oh.
What have I done? No, they're okay. I'm so confused.
You can't distinguish them?
No, I think I did have. Where are they? I kept them.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm confused.
I definitely have them somewhere here. Actually, is this? Oh yeah, that's the TDC tool that went bad. So that's one of the things that went not so great. We basically everything was good on the TDC tool, but I accidentally put a wrong thread name inside the PDF drawing. Even though the CAD files have the correct thread, the drawing I accidentally put the wrong size of the thread, so it doesn't actually. I mean, basically, it goes inside, but it falls out because the thread is just too small. It was an M4 thread instead of an M6 thread, so these went to shit.
Yeah.
And on the, I think on the small thumb screws, we had an issue where you couldn't like make the thread all the way 100% to the flat surface of the thumb screw bottom. Which basically meant that the factory put like a small chamfer on the edge where the thread connects to the flat surface, and that meant that like 0.5 millimeter or something like that was unusable length of the thread, and that meant that on like so we basically made it so it's extremely low profile. So even a 0.5 millimeter was like it was of importance.
Yeah.
And that meant that on some situations you could not hop enough with the small thumb screw. So we basically redid that and just did a bunch of smaller upgrades as well, like pre-applied thread glue and stuff like that. So in the end it went well. Thankfully that was a small batch that went bad, but yeah, that's like a little bit of behind the scenes that not always you can get everything right the first time.
No, I mean, it's very rare. I mean, it's like if I make something that comes out perfect the first time, I'm like the planets have aligned or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
It's I get, but I guess part of my process, I'm quite haphazard because I'm very impatient. So I'd rather just kind of get it on the printer and going rather than kind of like be is this angle the right angle? So it leads to a lot of kind of like thing. I mean, it depends on the size of it. If it's something which is going to take an hour to print, then I don't really care. I just want to like test it, you know, try it, because usually it's going to be more than one thing that needs changing or tweaking. But if it's something which is going to be like a 4-hour print, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I probably should put some time into this to make sure that it does kind of come out okay.
I honestly, it kind of feels like playing casino every time you draw something, and then put it for printing, and then when you take it off, it's like, will it fit or will it not? So it's kind of like a lottery. And like honestly, I've been doing this like the whole 3D printing since age of 15 or something like that. So I've got quite a bit of experience. So very often right now, it's still I still don't believe it, but very often actually I get it a lot of the times when I'm not doing like product designs. Like when I do product designs, I do like tens of revisions, but when I do like something for a house or where it just needs to work, I'm quite surprised that like I would say 5 out of 7 times I get it right, almost perfect the first time. But that's something you just learn over time and learn that your specific machine tolerances and stuff like that. So but yeah, it's kind of playing like lottery / casino every time you print something.
For sure. I like for the household stuff, I completely agree with you. We've got a one of our like knobs on our cooker, the plastic bit on that kind of broke, so I made a little insert to go on it. And I must say, one of the best tools I've bought since doing 3D printing is a blowtorch. Because if you make something, and if it doesn't really fit, you can just blast it quick, and then just kind of like remold it and bend it into place. And it is the best thing ever. It saves so much time and effort.
About blowtorches.
See, look, there you go. Blowtorches, they are so good, because you can, you know, before I got this, I'd like have a file and I'd be like kind of filing corners off and stuff like that to get it down. Whereas now, like especially with the like with the magazine inserts that I make, like like these ones here, this was great because I'd essentially, the first one I did, I just printed it as a straight flat U, and then I just go bend it there, try it out. No, okay, cool. Bend that back flat. Bend it there, and then you can just, you know, do all those little iterations to see, you know, where it is that it works right. And yeah, like it's so good, because at least, like, you know, if like even with these mounts here, these are all new mounts as well. These are going to be on the website at some point. But even with these mounts, like if I printed it and like the first batch of them, these little hooks were too fat, so I just come in here, apply some heat, squish them both down, and then if they work after that squidged down, I'm like, cool, that's the only thing that needs changing, like, you know. But if I did that and they still didn't fit, and I know this needs to bend out, I could then rebend that out, and if that's right, then boom, you kind of like know what it is that you need to do. But yeah, my days, like the blowtorches is such a good tool when it comes to 3D printing. I did recently get as well. I don't know how useful it has been useful so far to an extent. I've not used it much, and that's a 3D printing pen. So my idea with that is if I melt something too much, I can at least add a bit of material back to it.
Let me know how that goes. I'm curious as well.
So actually, let me get one. Let me get. I might be able to show you it.
Right, I'll use the empty space as sponsor. Go subscribe to my channel as well.
So this is a Action Army 50-round magazine. But by default, they're not compatible with the SSG-10. So I was like, I want to make it so I can use it with the SSG-10. So I, you know, as you kind of like, you know, as you do, I took my Dremel and I kind of butchered the end bit to extend it out to make it so I could, like, you know, use it on the rifle. But the problem I did is that I cut too much away, and then I couldn't use it anymore. So it was essentially, I needed to, oh wait, hold on. There you go, you're back. There you are. So I had to add material to it. How did I add material to it? My 3D printing pen. So I just added, I did like layers of material in there, and then once that dried off, got my Dremel, and then Dremeled it back again, and I had to do like 2 or 3 times, until I got it to the perfect level. So now it's just like whole, and there's a little layer of like PLA in there, and now this mag works perfectly in my SSG-10. So awesome. I'm now going to rinse and repeat. Hopefully not need the Dremel on the next ones, because, you know, hopefully I can just not cut away as much material as I have done before, and then we'll be good. So, I mean, if at like 30 quid, you might as well just grab one. Yeah. You know, it's all an expense. Exactly, yeah, but it's better than a glue gun. But that one, I thought I'd have the option to like, it's constantly feeds material. I thought it'd be like you press the button and it only feeds out when you hold the button down, but you select the speed, so it's kind of like just all the time. So it's really kind of like unnerving, because you kind of it's scary. You know, it's scary. So I'm gonna see if I can find another one which actually like extrudes when you hold the button down rather than
I didn't know they were making like printing pens that extrude constantly.
It's literally, you just adjust the speed of the extrude. I mean, you can put the speed down to like nothing. So I kind of like put it down to nothing, wipe the tip, and then come across, and then I'll like put the speed up and kind of do what I want to do. No. But it's just always doing it. It's always doing it. Wow,
that's like a really bad practice of how to reduce cost on your product.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's
but
ridiculous.
For fixing little things like this, it's perfect, because these mags are like 15 quid each. So being able to like cut it up and then fix it, I'm happy about that. So yeah, that's very good. Right, anybody chat, any questions, drop them in chat.
Question times.
We'll do another pass through of questions. So anything for me, anything for Mikas, anything like that, drop them in chat.
I have a question to you. Have you tried TAC 41?
I've not run one in the field. I've got hands on with one that you know, some guy was like, "Shoo, hold my rifle," and then when luckily he didn't undo his trousers. He just picked up his sniper and went, "Look at this." So I was like, "Okay, cool."
So the question is, if you had to get a sniper rifle for under 500, what would you get?
SSG-10.
Okay. A1, A2, A3.
A1.
I mean, I'm not okay. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the same. I'm very curious. I would like to see and try the TAC 41 because I've mostly good feedback, but I've heard some shoddy feedback as well. Yeah. So I'm kind of curious if that really beats DSG 10 plus TDC 2.0 in terms of like price performance. But I still believe that SG10 A1 with TDC probably is one of the best, at least cheapest, especially now that the Black Friday is coming back. I think Novritsch is going to be doing SG10.
He always is.
Yeah, and the last time he did it was, I think the SG10 went for 219 euros.
It was really that's when I bought it the first time. I was just like, there's no way I can. There's no way I'd be stupid not to buy it. Like, I mean, later on that they refunded the order because we're doing like, you know, YouTubey type things and that. But I was just like, at that price, you'd be genuinely dumb. Like if you're thinking about getting into sniping and you don't buy it at that price, it's just insane. Yeah, like the TAC 41. I like the. I mean, to be fair, like when they first announced it, I was like, cool, a silverback VSR, and then it wasn't that. It was just, you know, another kind of like custom silverback rifle. I just don't have any. I don't have any interest for it at all. Like I genuinely, I'm trying to like. There's no part of my body which is like even like buy it to make stuff for it. I've just got no. I've got no interest in it at all. Like.
Same. I think it's going to be a popular gun, but yeah, same here. Honestly, I think Silverback has done quite a good job already doing like aftermarket kind of first-hand aftermarket parts for it as well. And honestly, I just don't see much there, what could be improved there. So yeah, same here. They had a lot of people. Yeah, sorry.
They had an issue with the first batch, didn't they? Like they sent out an updated they sent a new feed ramp to everyone.
Yeah, people called that miles away when they first announced it.
Yeah. Oh, blimey.
But yeah. I mean, they fixed it quite quickly, and so far I think the new one's working well. So, but I see a lot of people want to hear about the SG96 TDC. So,
yes, that's been coming up quite a bit. So go for it.
Yeah. So everyone's asking for it for like a year now. But yeah, so it's in the final stages. So we basically just ordered the first prototype batch that we're gonna like just evaluate the design. Is it working well? Just to test if everything fits well. Is everything working as supposed to? Because there's like tons of tiny details, and for the SG96, so since the outer barrel, both on the inside and externally, is different diameter, that meant that we had to redo everything. So we had to redo the pro housing. We need to redo all the internal parts. It's also different size in terms of width, so there's not enough space to do this exact copy-paste design and just adapt it to the SG96. We had to actually do it a bit differently this time. But yeah, it's coming well. We're waiting for the first parts, and we also, for those who are not gonna, so the main problem on the SG96, I believe to date, is the fact that the TDC they went with is using plastic arm instead of the steel one, instead of a steel one. So what I've seen people do accidentally, and I think that's one of the issues, is they accidentally what do you call it? Oh my god, brain fart. You strip the threads. I mean, you strip the threads, so basically it's no longer functional. Obviously, it's a cheap part, but it's not something you want to do. And if it was steel, you would have no problem. But then again, I see the reason why they did it plastic, because when you do a steel thread and a steel screw going inside it, it's really hard to tension it so it doesn't turn by itself. And that's like the reason why they went with the plastic part. Plus, it's probably cheaper. So
yeah, you get a nice bite to it.
But yeah, we think we have figured out how to also do one in steel. It's a quite interesting technique. Won't share many details beyond that, but I hope it turns out well. And we also have that in production. So not in production, but also we're waiting for the first samples to arrive. So both of those are coming quite soon. Hopefully, we'll definitely get the samples this month. So if all goes well by the end of the year. I mean, you never know how it goes with these launches, but yeah, it's finally actually properly happening. For a long time, it was in the works, but we weren't actually doing a lot on the design. But yeah, it's now in production. We're waiting for the samples, so hopefully it's gonna be good, and it should fix most of the probably my only gripe with the SG96, because the rest of the gun is, I would say, I would probably prefer it, except it's a bit too heavy for my taste.
Yeah,
but I would prefer it over the SG10 and SG24.
Interesting. Ooh. So if it was as light as the SSG10 A1?
Definitely. Yeah, I would say definitely. Just because it has... so first of all, I like the style of the magazines for SG24 and SG96 better. The double stack magazines. Just because you're not losing BBs every time you remove the mag. Number two, it pops out, so that's a really good bonus, something I've also missed on the SG10. Plus, it has the quick, the bolt quick spring exchange thing, so you can basically quickly remove the bolt and change the spring out.
Yeah.
That's really neat. You can basically swap between different air brake pins and stuff like that. And just the whole body also feels great. But yeah, I would say like just the feature set, and also the fact that you can see if the gun is cocked. There's like this little pin indicator. That's also really cool. Yeah. But yeah, obviously they all shoot great. But yeah, the hop-up arm is right now the one thing that's preventing, I would say, me personally, like using it more. I mean, I don't think I've actually run it in a game, because I mean they all shoot basically the same. They all shoot great. But yeah, since it's quite heavy, don't really like it that much.
Fair. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, one of the first things I did with it, apart from doing teardowns to compare it to cheap well rifles, which people said it was. I mean, that's something which I find really ironic, where people just go, "Oh, it's just like an upgraded cheap sniper rifle," and in my head, I'm just like, that's what every single airsoft gun is. Yeah. It's just an upgraded cheap gun. It could have a more expensive body, a more expensive gearbox, a more expensive... It doesn't... I mean, it's exactly... it's just the same as, Umbrella Armories. It's just upgraded cheap guns. I mean, it's just... it blows my mind when people are like that. You know, like this Crytek. It's an upgraded compared to this gun. So people were kind of silly, but anyway.
I think I wanted to quickly touch on the topic you mentioned. So like I obviously have a bit more first-hand experience with Christoph and working with Novritsch guys, and I have the full utmost respect for those guys. Yes, they do not make the guns by themselves. They don't have a Novritsch factory set up in China where they make all their custom guns. So what they do is, this is probably for those who are not that familiar with the manufacturing side of airsoft. So what they basically do as a company is they have a bunch of designers that are really smart and know what parts of the gun need to be upgraded for it to perform well. And they basically go to a factory that creates cheap guns, but they have zero clue what they're doing. So, for example, you go to Jingong, and they create the shittiest guns that break on the first, second use and stuff like that. But the fact they are a good platform for upgrades, a lot of people buy Bar 10 just to upgrade it.
That was my first sniper.
Yeah, exactly. And what they do is they basically go to these companies that create cheap guns, and since they're based in China, so airsoft in China is actually banned. It's illegal. If you get caught with an airsoft gun and stuff like that, you can get into jail. So it's not a hobby there. Nobody actually knows what's up with airsoft. What do you need to do with airsoft, or with what parts to actually get it good, get a good product out of it. And what basically Novritsch does is they go to the company and say, hey, let's make this and this and this part better. We need to create a different design for this and this part. Let's try to actually injection mold a better polymer inside the same molds that you actually use for the same gun you already make. And then they sign a contract that it's exclusive to them for 5-10 years, and they actually make a really competitive and good performing gun. Obviously, Novritsch is known to create a not perfect gun. Like, if you look at this G24, there was always some tiny flaws. When you look at this G10, there's also the scratching cylinder issue still, and a few small things. But generally, the gun is like so way above like the average cheap gun level. It seals well. It's consistent. The barrel's good. The bucking is usually maple leaf, so it's also good. Usually the only thing that's kind of letting the Novritsch guns down is the hop-up chamber, and that we kind of fixed it. And that's how they go. And I don't think a lot of people know that or really understand it. Sure, they go to a cheap gun manufacturer and they pre-upgrade the gun, but it's so much more than just like, oh, let's just improve material on this part and I ship away. They actually do development, and they do a lot of development. They have almost. So I've been to Vienna. I've seen their new offices. I would say almost a third of their people, which is like, they have like 50 or 60 people right now working for the company. Almost a third of those are product developers, not like marketing people. They are actually developers that are full-time developers, and they have workshops, they have things, they're working all on the CAD, and they actually know what to make better on these guns. So I have the utmost respect for Novritsch, and I think they really pushed the industry in a really great direction ever since they started making guns, honestly. I don't think there has been there would have been a TAC 41 in the same way as it is right now. I don't think there would be a lot of other guns, especially in the sniper segment, because Novritsch basically took it by the storm. Nobody was doing like really good pre-upgraded guns, and now everyone's doing it. So I doubt it just happened to just be that way. So yeah.
No, I completely agree. Like, I mean, I don't think anybody can say that Novritsch hasn't had a huge positive impact on airsoft on the whole, like across the world, which is, you know, it's a very rare thing to have and to be able to do. And like, you know, Christoph and the team have definitely been able to have that all the way from the SSG-24, which was, you know, it's their most expensive rifle that they've done. So I guess they learned a lot from that, which is then, you know, SSG-10A1 came out, and it was just so cost effective yet you know, there's no way you're going to be able to get a better performing rifle out of the box for less than that, or even, you know, probably even for like an extra $100, apart from if you put like, you know, TRIDOS.DESIGN in it, which 100% I definitely recommend. Tim put in chat, make an M700 stock for the VSR. We all want it. Isn't that just what a stock VSR 10 stock is? Isn't that like?
I honestly, I'm so bad with the. I think it kind of looks like.
No,
that,
it is. Yeah, like I'd be very surprised if I'm proved incorrect on that. The because the VSR 10 platform is based on the R7 is based on the Remington 700 anyway. Sick, cool.
But yeah, honestly, just one more. Like I've been working with Novritsch for a few secret projects. They still haven't released, and oh man, the things they're making, and especially those projects that I worked on. I myself can't wait for the production version to come out just so I can use it, because oh my god, it's just gonna be so good. Obviously can't speak of it, but I hope they're gonna bringing it out next year. So, and they have so much things into development. It's insane. It's honestly insane. I think when I spoke to Christoph a year ago, or something like that, when I was in the interview thing at their offices the first time, and that was when they released the G10 and I think the SSX and a few guns, and they already had like a team of 5 developers like working full time, and now they have like almost 20 people, and basically at that time Christoph said like everything beyond up until that point was just all his work. Nothing of the guys that had been working for almost a year on the development side of things, nothing had come out yet. So it's kind of insane, the things that are coming out. So I'm really, really excited, especially for the products I worked on. But yeah, just super, super curious to see how the things are going to unfold in airsoft industry in the next year or two. So very fun times.
They did tweets, or they kind of teased, kind of not. I just replying to Tim. Yeah, the SSG-24 is based on the M24 sniper rifle, which does look similar to the Remington 700, but it is longer, fatter, with like more of a flat front end. So that's where the kind of like, I guess, differences lie on those. Sure. In the most recent, they did like a vlog, which I think went live today or yesterday, talking about the whole company going out for like an airsoft day, which is really cool. But there was one little bit in there where Joseph said about how they were testing some new products out in the field as well. So I was like, oh, okay, interesting. I wonder what those were. I've not gone back through to like, you know, frame by frame look to see if there's any.
Usually somebody does that in the community. Usually when you look at the Novritsch Facebook group pages, somebody does that for you. So if there's something interesting, they usually point it out. I think one of the things that was spotted was like a new high kappa split slide thing.
Oh, okay.
I think that's if it was in testing phases, it should be coming out quite soon. So that was already a while ago, but obviously not that excited for that part. But they're testing things always, all times. So
I need to get over there so I can see the secret stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the last time I was in the office, I didn't see that much like secret stuff that I can't talk about. But yeah, it's definitely. I think the fabrics department of the Novritsch is one of the biggest things that's happening to the airsoft industry, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, the things they've been pumping out in the fabrics department is insane, and the amount that's still in development is also insane. I think, even though I was yesterday looking for a good radio pouch, and Novritsch just sold out of the the radio pouches I wanted to get. And I was looking at both. I'm ordering a lot of stuff from Airsoft Zone and Anareus in Czech Republic or something like that. And there's basically like 2 or 3 options. All of them are expensive, and they wouldn't work well for the standard Baofeng radio. Yeah. Like, what the hell? So and they made it perfect. So I think there's a lot of gaps, especially in that department. So yeah, very, very excited for that.
Fair. Like, I'm hyped too. It's nice to know that they've got so much going on. Like from at the minute, kind of like, you know, public awareness is the Novritsch P90 is on its way, and what is set for a February release. So that's kind of like, you know, oh, they're working on the P90. Then that's the next thing. But there will be some kind of like, you know, leak or announcement or something like that where people will then go, oh, okay, cool, this is also in the works. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It makes sense that there's a lot of other things being worked on. Yeah, it's nice to know that there is extra stuff in the works. Although, don't tell anybody that we know. That's a secret. Everyone in stream, it's a secret. Shh, it's a secret. It's a secret. Oh, sick. Well, thank you very much for coming on, dude. It's been an absolute pleasure, like talking through bits, getting a bit of an insight into, you know, your kind of like airsoft history, and yeah, it's really cool to see that, you know, the SSG 24 was the gun that kind of like, you know, kicked everything off for you. It's yeah,
it's definitely a great timing for me, great timing for a business opportunity, and it has been working out great. I've been doing this full time now for almost 2 years now. No, sorry, almost 2 years now. So, and it's been working out well. So it's really awesome that we have such an opportunity to create business for such a bizarre sport and a hobby. But very very grateful for all the customers and like all the feedback that we've getting. And yeah, it's been a hell of a ride. So
that's awesome, man. That's so cool. Everyone, make sure you go subscribe to TRIDOS.DESIGN on YouTube and on Instagram. All the details are below his finger right now. So go click on those, drop a sub on that. And if you're watching and you're not subscribed already to me, then subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, drop a like on the stream as well, so other people can see all the magical content that we have here in this video. But yeah, that is going to be us for the stream today. Any final words would you like to say to all of these wonderful people?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having us in today in the live stream, guys. Thanks for the questions, and yeah, see you in the field.
Sick. And thank you very much, everyone, for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, Mikas. And yeah, I think I'll have a video tomorrow. I'm not too sure. I need to see if I find the time in order to get it together, because I'm awfully busy at the moment. But we shall see. Anyway, until next time, thank you very much for watching. Remember to call your hits, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Yeah.